Hello. In this tutorial, we are going to have a look at the 25 cone race sheet. It's a race sheet version, created from the standard race sheets. This will simplify the administration of race results for a 25 cone race. We will have a look at these things. 1. A quick overview of the 25 cone Excel race sheets. 2. Racer management. Import racers from the ranking database. 3. Race sheet management. Adding race results. 4. Result management. Export race results to the ranking database. So, let's have a quick overview of this 25 cone Excel file. It has 9 sheets in total. First sheet is for the settings. Here, you can add your event title information. It will then show on all the race sheets. Then, we have the ExcelMate settings. They will be handled in a special tutorial later on. The racer name settings will decide how names are presented on the result sheets. The second sheet is the racer sheet. Here, and on this sheet only, all racers are added, edited and sorted. And that will automatically update racers on all the other racer result sheets. Then finally, we have the race result sheets. One for each of the 2 courses that we run. And one for each direction. So, in total 4 result sheets. And that is the format used for each race in the 25 cone series. Racers have 3 runs for each of the 4 parts. And the best time is counted for each part. Then we have the 2 sheets showing the overall results. First, the overview sheet that shows all the run results for all racers. All of it, all on the same sheet. And then, we have the sheet for the totals. Here, the final total result will be shown for the 25 cone event. Best time from each of the 4 parts. And the calculated average of the 4 times, giving the final result. Finally, the last sheet, the export sheet. Here, we can copy all the race data. And then, import it all into the ranking database. So, there we have it. Let's open up that Excel racer sheet again. As you can see, there are quite a lot of fields. It must be a pain to register all that. Right? Yes. And that is why we will try to avoid that. Instead, we will import our start list. Let's go to the slalomranking.com website. Be aware, you will need to have administration rights for your event. If you have not, then contact the event organizer. Log in. Open the settings panel. Select your event title. And your event administration page will open up. Once here, find subspot settings. And select Race Admin. Then, find Race Task. Select Create Excel Racer List. Boom. You have a list already there. How is that possible? Well, the application found all racers that have previously entered your event. There will be more options later for how to select racers. But this is good enough for most of us. We click the button Select Table. Then, we use Ctrl+C to copy the whole table to the clipboard. And then, we go back to our 25 cone Excel sheet again. Let us erase the current racer data. So we have an empty racer sheet. This is how the racer sheet will look like the first time you open it. Now, click the cell in the upper left corner. The cell that says EDID. It's a good habit to right-click that cell with your mouse. Up comes a menu. And you select Paste without any formatting. What can be needed though is adding new racers. Minimum is to fill in personal name and family name. We will talk more about this later on in this tutorial. Well, that's it for now. We have a racer list for our event. Now let's have a look at the actual race sheets. This is not a tutorial about how to use the race sheets. There is a special tutorial for that. Here, we will only talk about some of the differences. The 25 cone race sheets are very similar to what you might be used to. But, there are some changes made to make it work better for 25 cone races. We show results fields for 3 runs. Since that is the number of runs we use for each part in a 25 cone race. Some fields are hidden that we do not need. And a very special thing. For adding a DQ, we enter 98 as raw time. The rest works the same as on a normal race sheet. We see the best run for each racer, and the final result list for that part of the race. We also have 4 of these race sheets added. One for each part that we run in a 25-cone race. Make sure to enter race values on the correct race sheets. And also remember, never edit the names on the result sheets. There are also 2 extra sheets added for results. First, we have this overview sheet. It shows results from all the 12 runs for all the racers. This sheet is actually also the one used when entering results manually on paper during a race. For example, if not using a computer at the race, or printing it out for a cone judge administrator, or having the paper sheets as a backup. Then print out this sheet before the race, with many names already filled in. Of course, then all result fields are empty. And then, you can update your Excel sheets later. Then we have the total sheet, showing the best runs from each of the 4 parts of the race. And here we also have the total result list for the whole event, showing the total average times from the 4 best results. DQ, or no result, from any of the 4 parts, will give a 1-second penalty on the total average time. You should never edit any results on these 2 sheets. They are filled in automatically from the race sheets. These extra sheets are only for viewing. Last run is made. We have a complete result. It's time to add our results into the ranking database. In the heat of the administration, during the event, you don't always have the time to add new racers to perfection. If you allow it at all. Sometimes, you need to be pre-registered for events. And in those cases, we are ready to export right away. But, if you do allow on-site registration, often you do the minimum. First step is to have a look back on that racer sheet again. So, are there any new racers added? Racers that did not come from our initial import? Maybe a totally new racer? Or, an existing racer, not in our imported racer list? We do have an added racer in our case. Just for testing, we added one. Alexander 1. If not adding more than names, there are default values that will be used. Default values for gender is male. Default for birth year will be something giving a senior age of 18 or more. Default class will be amateur. Default country, the same as for the event. Also, if that exact name does not exist in the database, then it will be added as a new racer. So, if we have a totally new racer, we need to be a bit more careful with the person info we register. But, how do we know if a racer already exists? To get that person ID, you can search for racers at slalomranking.com. If a racer exists, it is safer to add the existing person ID and register it in our racer list. Unless you are 100% sure, you type the name exactly as it is registered in the ranking database. For example, we search for Alexander. Okay, there is not the Alexander we want in our result list. But, if there were and we selected an Alexander, we can see the person ID here. That ID number is what we would register in the PID column for our racer. In our case, we know it is a new racer, so we skip that. So, racer registration is checked. We open up the export sheet. We are ready to export our race data. From this sheet, we will copy the white area. Be aware that if you have many racers, you might need to scroll down the sheet to check if there are more racers further down. When you are sure about all racer data, then let us select the data and copy it with Ctrl+C. Be aware, there are 2 columns to copy. Okay, I have selected the data and copied it to the clipboard. Time to head back to slalomranking.com. Log in. Open up the settings panel. Select our event title. Select subspot settings. Race admin. Select race task. Import Excel results. We paste our copied data from our clipboard into the Excel import field. Then we click on the button Check Excel Data. Event discipline. OK. 25 cone series event, OK. Subspot is open for administration. OK. We have a warning that a person ID is missing. This is expected. It's the new racer that we added to the start list. We see the default values added for the new skater. Nationality, birth year, gender and class. The last empty field is club ID. And that is optional. This will work for us. It also reminds us of some things concerning adding new racers. We click the Continue button. If there are already racers checked in, and there is existing results for our subspot, then it warns us that they will be deleted. This is okay in our case. We click the Continue button. All imported result data will get listed. Scroll down and have a quick look at it. What I can see, it all seems to be as expected. And anyway, if we find that something is wrong later, no problem. We update our Excel sheet, copy the Excel data, and import the results again. It's so easy to update now. So it will not be a problem for us. We click the Import button. We get a log of what has been done. One racer added. Old data for the subspot erased. All our racers have been registered and checked in. And finally all results have been added. A green bar is what we want to see. Import finished. Now we can have a look at the leaderboard and see if our racers are there. If we scroll up, there is a leaderboard button on top of the page. That will take us to the leaderboard. We click it. And voila! Our results are there. So, there it is. The new result management for 25 cone races. I hope it will make life easier for all the 25 cone organizers out there.